On the news, federal government asks states to take responsibility for COVID-19 management as toll exceeds 10,000. Kogi imposed lockdown on local governments with index cases of COVID-19. And fresh Ebola outbreak leaves 4 dead in Congo. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. We begin with the latest development in the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigerian states. The Ondo state government says it has recorded 3 new cases of the infection, bringing the total number of confirmed infections in the state to 28. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, who announced this on Monday via his Twitter handle, said 2 of the 3 new patients died while receiving treatment at the Infectious Disease Hospital, Akure. He adds that the 3rd case is currently undergoing treatment at the IDH. Elsewhere, Bayelsa has recorded its first COVID-19 related death in a patient who suddenly developed severe respiratory distress. The state COVID-19 task force says the victim is a military officer in his 40s. According to the group, the man was in stable condition but suddenly developed complications that led to his death. He was receiving treatment at the Niger Delta University Teaching Hospital, Okolobiri. The state has, however, assured that all other COVID-19 patients in its care are in stable condition. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Bayelsa State currently has 12 confirmed COVID-19 cases. Meanwhile, Nigeria's COVID-19 toll has surged past the 10,000 mark following the emergence of 307 new cases in 14 states and the Federal Capital Territory. In a tweet on Sunday night, the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, said the new cases brings the country's total figure to 10,162. The NCDC also announced that 14 more patients died from the virus on Sunday, to bring the fatality toll to 287, while the number of recoveries also increased from 2,856 to 3,007. And now to Kogi State. After rejecting the report from the NCDC confirming 2 COVID-19 cases in the state, Governor Yahaya Bello has ordered a lockdown in Kaba Bunu local government area of the state. Chief Imam of Kaba and one of his aides tested positive for the disease last week, but the state government denied the results, accusing the NCDC of perpetrating fraud. But in a statewide broadcast on Monday, Governor Bello directed health workers who attended to the index cases to self-isolate. He also restricted movement in Kaba Bunu for the next 14 days. And as the country prepares to end the second phase of the ease lockdown, residents of Abuja are asking the federal government to completely open up the economy in the FCT. TV360's Tunji Oye went around the city to feel the pulse of the residents and has more in this report. Take a listen.
Petty trading, commercial vehicles working, roadside businesses are all signs of life gradually returning to the Federal Capital Territory.
This is the second week of the gradual ease of the lockdown in the FCT. Right now, major food markets operate 3 times in a week. Also, vehicular movements have increased greatly within the city. However, other businesses are still under lock and key. Shopping malls, auto spare part markets, building material markets, all are still under lock and key. And today's residents of Abuja are hoping that the lockdown will be totally lifted so that life can return to normal in Abuja.
When there is a lockdown, there is no business, and there is nothing we can do, because if you look at the economy of Nigeria, it's on daily basis. It's what you do, it's what you get. And if you don't do a transaction for one day or the other, how will you now take care of the next day? So that is the nature of the economy we are running in this very nation. It's tough. You should know it's tough. If there is no business, there is no money. So if you want to do any business, will you go inside someone's house to go and do the business? No. And how many online business do you have in Nigeria?
Personally, every single Nigerians will tell you they want the government to fully ease the lockdown. But I think the government should do what they know is best for our citizens, because if we say the government should open to free the lockdown and we don't have a second wave of the virus, I think we have ourselves to be blamed for it. So I think the health practitioners should answer that question. If they feel it is the right time for easing the lockdown, then why not? But I think the government should also do what is right for our citizens.
A church is not supposed to be locked down, because once the people need help, spiritually, physically, they run to God. But once the place of the church of God has been shut down already, where are they going to run to? We need prayer in this time. We need God intervention in this time. We need God mercy in this time, because actually we have sinned against our Father in different ways, in different means. This is the time we need our God so much to come and rescue us out.
They're supposed to open them up because we are hungry. We are hungry. As I day yourself, sit now, I see man I be since morning where I come and never get 150. So now so we're gonna do many shops no open, plaza no open, and people get that shop and plaza. People where they hungry, they worry them. Government no give us anything, make they open them, make we go. So that anybody, if you catch corona, if you go fight corona, fight them. If corona go fight you, fight you. Two things, one go happen.
Gradually, at least today, we see a bit of a transformation from the other day. So things is moving gradually, yeah.
It's been more than 2 months of non-active commercial activities in the FCT, and residents can only hope that everything will finally be over in the next few days. From Abuja, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
The federal government has pushed the battle to contain the coronavirus to states and communities. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on the Pandemic, Boss Mustafa, announced this while briefing journalists at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He said henceforth, the federal government will only provide supervision and coordination on the management of the pandemic. This report has details.
As the second phase of the gradual easing of lockdown comes to an end, there are concerns that Nigeria have reached its peak of community transmission since the last 2 weeks. These concerns were raised by the chairman of the Presidential Task Force, Boss Mustafa, while speaking to State House correspondents in Abuja.
You know, we were in the first phase. We had an extension of 2 weeks for the second phase. For the first phase. The next phase should be the second phase. And along with that, we came in with a lot of recommendations, which we expect Mr. President to consider. But I can assure you about one thing, that the ownership of the next phase will be the responsibility of the states under national supervision and coordination, because we have gone into community transmission. And where are the communities? The communities are in the state. So the ownership of the next phase will be that of the states, the local government, the traditional institutions, the religious leaders at the different levels of our communities, because that is where the problem is. Like we've kept saying, 20 local governments out of 774 account for 60% of confirmed cases in Nigeria today. So where are these 20 local governments? They are in communities. It means that we have reached the epitome of community transmission, and we must get the communities involved. There's a likelihood of the increase in transmission in cases, but that should not be a source of despair. Like we've always said, the experts will always tell you that over 80% will contact coronavirus and would not even notice that they have that. And that accounts for what is happening at the isolation centers when you see young men saying that I'm not sick, why am I being kept here? They are asymptomatic. They don't show symptoms. And they will wear it out, or spit it out. There is a 20% that is critical by virtue of certain factors, indices, age, underlying health conditions, and vulnerability. That's the percentage we are trying to protect. And if we don't do something in terms of management, in terms of putting in non-pharmaceutical interventions and guidelines to protect that 20%, about 5% of them can fall critically ill and eventually become fatalities in the numbers. And that's what we are trying to avoid. So everything that we are in place in is to ensure that we protect this vulnerable 20%.
Mustafa also told newsmen that the team recommended to the president to allow states to decide on the reopening of schools, businesses and worship centers, which has been shut since March as part of the effort to curb the spread of coronavirus.
A substantial part of the economy was opening up by way of allowing agricultural productions, people that produce fertilizer. The oil and gas industry was never closed for one day. Haulages of oil, refining and prospecting continued. Some financial aspect of the financial sector was open. And after we receive Mr. President's approval tonight or tomorrow morning, we will now know which segment of the economy he has allowed to open. So the issues of places of worship, the issues of schools, the issues of certain businesses that were not open hitherto, part of the packages that we have looked at, and we've made the appropriate recommendations.
According to the PTF chairman, the president also commended all frontline workers who have been at the forefront in the fight against COVID-19 since the outbreak in the country.
He assured us that the nation is fully behind us in the work that he has charged us to do. And he is also appreciative of the work of the frontline workers, particularly the medical personnel, the security personnel, and those that are who are first responders, the people that come in contact with even the patients at the time of collection of samples, the testing, the care that they are given. And we also discussed the issues of compliance. And he said we should continue to appeal to Nigerians and drive home the point that it is a personal responsibility for each and every Nigerian to undertake, to ensure that he keeps himself safe and by extension keeping his family and his loved one and his community safe.
President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to address Nigerians after receiving updates and recommendations from the Presidential Task Force at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Until his address, there are speculations on whether or not the Nigerian economy will be fully reopened as its total COVID-19 cases surpasses 10,000. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV360, Abuja.
Hotel owners in Nigeria have given the federal government conditions for the use of their facilities as isolation centers in the treatment of COVID-19 patients. The hoteliers under the Hospitality and Tourism Management Association of Nigeria said they were ready to support the government in this time of need, though the government must meet their conditions. Hafton President Samson Aturu, in a statement, said if a hotel is going to be used as an isolation center, the facility must be decontaminated after a COVID-19 patient is discharged. He also adds that the federal government must be ready to pay the bills as at when due. And outside Nigeria, South Africa has announced further easing of its COVID-19 lockdown, letting people out for work, worship or shopping, and allowing mines and factories to run at full capacity. The country has, however, pushed back Monday's reopening of schools by a week, saying that a substantial number of schools are not ready to welcome back pupils. The Department of Basic Education, in a statement, said the decision followed 3 reports by industry players that raised concerns about the state of readiness of schools to reopen. South Africa has over 32,600 confirmed COVID-19 cases, with close to 700 deaths and 16,809 recoveries. We'll take a short break here to bring you more stories. Now, don't go away.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those, they are silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country. I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly. God forbid that I go to join that
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Welcome back. Away from our COVID-19 coverage now to security matters, protesters, including students of the University of Benin, UNIBEN, activists and concerned individuals on Monday stormed the headquarters of the State Police Command demanding justice for Vera Owaila Omozua. Owaila, a 100-level student of the Department of Microbiology in UNIBEN, was reported to have been raped and killed by some hoodlums inside a church where she went to read at the Ikboba Hill area of Benin City, the Edo State capital. This sparked outrage with hashtag Justice for Owa dominating social media trend. The protesters wearing black outfits and bearing placards decrying rape staged a walk from the King Square area of Benin, the Edo State capital, and eventually took their message to the State Police Command headquarters. The Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Ayola Ajala, who received the protesters, assured that investigations have commenced and arrests have been made in connection to Owa's murder. He also debunked allegations that the police station where the matter was reported to refused to look into the incident for lack of funding. Well, some governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, have met with the party's national leader, Bola Tinubu. This comes as part of efforts to douse the crisis in Edo State chapter of the party ahead of the forthcoming governorship election in the state. The APC in Edo has been split since the disagreement arising from the absence of some lawmakers at the inauguration of the State House of Assembly, with a group loyal to the APC National Chairman Adams Oshomole and the other led by the incumbent governor Godwin Obaseki. In a bid to resolve the dispute between the two groups, the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Atiku Bagudu, led Governor Obaseki and 6 other governors to seek Tinubu's intervention in the matter. The governors who attended the meeting, which held on Sunday in Lagos, include Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, Mohammed Abubakar of Jigawa State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, and Adigboyega Oyetola of Osun State. Still on politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has directed political parties wishing to adopt the direct primary mode to elect their candidate for the Edo and Ondo governorship elections to submit their membership register to the Commission. The Commission noted this will allow for effective monitoring of the party primaries. It also requested to be furnished with a list of delegates by the political parties that opted for the indirect primary mode. INEC National Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, who announced the request during a virtual meeting with political party leaders, charged the parties to ensure rancor-free primaries, adding that party primaries form the foundation for the secondary election conducted by the Commission. He also restated the preparedness of the Commission to conduct the governorship and by-elections within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Senate spokesperson Ajibola Bashir has described the newly signed Executive Order 10 on financial autonomy for state legislature and judiciary as a boost for Nigeria's democracy. Bashir made a remark in an exclusive interview with TV360. He said financial autonomy upholds the concept of separation of power and is at the heart of ensuring that checks and balances can be assured in governance.
I'm someone who had worked at the level of executive before, being a two-term commissioner in the state of Osun. So I will say that now I'm in the legislative arm at the federal level. I will say that the legislative arm at the federal level, we have a better leeway in terms of independence because of financial autonomy, which has already been established at the federal level. But on the contrary, it will appear that many state legislators, they are always at the whims and caprices of the executive arm as to whether they will even get their basic entitlement. The same thing for judiciary. I was an attorney general of the state, and I discovered that it may well pretty be difficult in terms of prioritization to get things done in judiciary. Even though the governor may be well-meaning, but because of the myriads of challenges and demands on the executive, they may well prioritize their own priority projects at the detriment of development of the other sector of the government. So I think this is a right step in ensuring that we further entrench our democracy. For the past 21 years, we have made some progress, but of course, this new development will ensure that we further entrench the necessary autonomy to ensure that checks and balances, as envisaged by the concept of separation of power, is actually practiced in reality.
Still to come is news from the business scene and more after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. We'll now be joining Oyin Adekunle for the latest in business. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Fidelia.
So there's been a slash in the pump price of petrol. Could you give us more details on this?
Oh, you're very correct. Petrol will now be sold to retailers at 121 naira and 50 kobo per litre. The Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA) announced the new retail price band to marketers in a May 31 circular on Monday. According to the memo, marketers are expected to sell petrol between a price band of 121 naira 50 kobo and 123 naira 50 kobo. The sharp drop in crude oil prices on the back of the spread of the coronavirus saw the landing cost of petrol hitting a record low in March, wiping off subsidy on the product. The pump price of petrol, which is still being regulated by the federal government, was reduced to 125 naira per litre from 145 naira per litre on March 18, 2020, and later dropped to 123 naira 50 kobo from 125 naira per litre on April 1st. Oil prices were little changed on Monday, with the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, considering meeting as soon as this week to discuss whether to extend record production cuts beyond end June. Brent crude was unchanged at $37.84 a barrel in the first day of trading in the contract, with August as the front month. West Texas Intermediate crude futures for July delivery were at $35.53 a barrel, up 4 cents at the early hours of Monday. The price falls come after front month Brent and WTI price posted their strongest monthly gains in years in May. Gains were boosted by OPEC crude production dropping to its lowest in 2 decades, with demand expected to recover as more nations emerge from the coronavirus lockdowns. We'll take a pause here and return with stock market review. Don't go away. Trading for the month of June kicked off on a positive note today at the Nigerian equities market, with crucial market indicators which opened at 25,267 basis points, increasing by 0.22%. Market capitalization of all listed equities also rose to 13.197 trillion naira at the close of trading today. And despite the mild gains, the NSE still has a gloomy outlook, with investors exercising caution due to the increasing number of COVID-19 cases, and that's in addition to weak economic conditions. And in total, a total turnover of 244.8 million units of shares worth 2.6 billion naira exchange hands in 4,775 deals. And moving on now, when we look at the top gainers in the market today, it was led by Dangote Sugar, of course, closing at 14 naira 15 kobo, and that's from 12 naira and 90 kobo in previous session. We also have Nigeria Breweries on the list of gainers, Guarantee Trust Bank and Vitafoam as well, all chalking up gains to 5 naira 95 kobo. That's the amount Vitafoam sold for at the close of trading today. And on the flip side, to the top losers, Stanbic IBTC led the worst performers in the market today, followed by Flour Mill going from 21 naira per share to 20 naira today. And also we have Fitson Healthcare as well as Mansard also dropping significantly at the close of trading today. And moving on to international markets now, we see that the FTSE closed in the red, 0.76%. Same for Dow Jones and Nikkei, 0.84%. And that's it from here, Fidelia. It's back to you.
Thank you very much, Oyin, for that update. Let's now move to the foreign scene. 4 people have died from Ebola in a new outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. It comes as the country's health minister confirmed a new case of the deadly virus in the western province of Equateur, which is over 1,000 kilometers away from the ongoing outbreak in the country's eastern region. In April, Congo was days from declaring the end of the second largest Ebola pandemic on record when a new chain of infection was confirmed in the east. This poses a major challenge for the Central African country as it fights to deal with the new outbreak as well as the coronavirus and measles. And to sports now, Manchester United have confirmed an extension to Odion Ighalo's deal, which will see him stay at the club until January 2021. The striker arrived from Chinese Super League side Shanghai Shenhua on a temporary loan deal in January to provide Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with cover for the injured Marcus Rashford. United have already had to pay Shenhua a loan fee for the initial 5-month spell, and it is understood the Chinese side will receive another payment from the Red Devils for the extended period. While there have been no discussions to keep Ighalo at the club on permanent basis, Solskjaer has been keen from the start to have him in his squad until the end of the season. And that's it on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. Bye for now.